Chapter 6, Practical Female Psychology. We're talking about magic vaginas. Welcome back, guys. Another episode. This one we're talking about probably one of my favorite chapters, only because of the funniness of it. Magic Pussy Syndrome. In this case, MPS, a term coined by the authors, is the belief that a woman has a pussy and she is entitled to special privileges at other people's expense, such as free drinks, free dinner, alimony, child support, and the list goes on. In contrast, most guys know we pay for everything and at retail prices. This is probably one of the biggest complaints in the sphere about guys. That girls are coddled their whole life, that guys have everything harder, and that why can't it be fair? And I'm here to say life isn't fair, because eggs are expensive and sperm is cheap. Because simpery is a thing and thirst is real and it's unending, because it's never going to go away. A girl will always be treated better. And it's not some unfairness of the world handed down upon you. Like I keep saying, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's because back when we were cavemen, just started getting out of trees and walking around on the ground, there was two schools of thought when it came to, how the tribe acts. There was the guys that treated their women like porcelain and protected them at all costs, allow women to manipulate them into being better protectors, better hunters, better providers. And then there was those that was like, yeah, I got mine, you get yours. I'm just going to knock up all these girls and then the numbers game will play out. Now, over the hundreds of thousands of years that Paleolithic man was around, guess which one won? So we self-selected for the plow horse man, which was great in a society based on scarcity. When the amount of people you had farming, the amount of arable land was the only factor that mattered, and the population never got up past 1 billion people, it was great. But now we're in a new world. A world of abundance, 8 billion people, worldwide network of God knows. You can get something from China 2 days delivered to your house that they built just for you after you paid for it with your non-existent Bitcoin. And in this case, these kind of things work against you. It's a term I call sexual diabetes, where our previous instincts are no longer working in our best interests. And in this case, in the same way that the plow horse mentality that guys have is no longer serving our interests and no longer helpful in a modern society, magic pussy syndrome is something that's come out of it from the female side. Unfortunately, the entitlement isn't quite an easy thing to punish, so we're just stuck with it. But there's easy ways around it, and we're going to get into those in the chapter. It starts off in recognizing it. And I love the example they used here. And it's going out to dinner with a girl. She shows up late. And then once she's late, she comes in. Does she offer an apology? Does she offer to pay for dinner? In which case they're like, yeah, if she comes in, hey, sorry I was late. I'll cover dinner this time. That's great. You let it go. But if a girl comes in with MPS, one of the ways you can find out is she'll start making demands. Can we not eat here? Can we eat somewhere else? Just some other types of entitlements. Now, they talk about the ways to recognize this, and there's a couple examples. This specific example here. So if you pitch a fit, you can now consider that she officially owns you. Basically, all she has to do is throw out a demand, and she can get you to emote. If she pitches a fit, and you supplicate in hopes of calming her down, you're also officially owned. Again, she's setting the tone. She's setting frame. You want to talk about frame? This is frame. If me just demanding something from you gets you mad, I set the frame. If me getting mad and you trying to placate me, it sets the frame. If you look deep into her eyes and tell her, hey, it's been fun, but I gotta go. You may never hear from her again and wonder why. And this is the thing I think is most important here, because it's very easy for a guy not to know not to yell at a girl. Don't yell at her because she gave you some crap at dinner, just laugh it off. Or if she gets mad, it's not your responsibility to placate her emotions. Don't start appeasing her because she's getting angry. If you remember last episode, I talked about the two-chart axis of closed communications. Think about that. How does this work as a status and harmony play? It's basically making you submissive. The one, though, that we don't talk about much is the one where the guy just doesn't put up with her shit and punishes her. You go, well, you got to punish these hoes, man. You just got to tell them no. And then they leave because they're going to get another guy easy because they're hoes and they're thoughts and they're girls. Girls have abundance to a level you will never understand. Like the average 5 out of 10 chicken or 20s has like mini celebrity status. And to them, it's just normal. So yeah, while you can punish these hoes with all these kind of demands, They're going to leave, you're going to leave, and nobody's going to be any the wiser. Now, surely there's got to be a better way than this. You'd think. There actually kind of is. But it doesn't play well for YouTube, so. This is why this video will never do as good as those whammon ain't shit callouts everywhere. Oh, she's pulling some shit, I'm out of here. But as men, we gain great power by understanding and acknowledging MPS, but at the same time, demonstrating that we refuse to take it seriously. This has an effect of short-circuiting the woman's aloofness and superior attitude. When a man shows that he's above a woman's MPS, she instinctively recognizes that she's dealing with a rare and superior male. In healthy women, this will wonderfully transform her into a pursuer of man. Now that's one of the two reactions you're going to get here. One, it snaps a girl out of her, it's a script essentially. Throw out these tests on guys to see if they're capable of handling her at her worst. If he gets mad, it's done. If she gets mad and he placates, it's done. If he just leaves, it's done. The best way out of this one is just realizing she's not your arch nemesis. So many guys love that whole comeuppance story. This chick did me wrong, and I got my comeuppance, and I taught her a lesson. I left her with her half of the check. And that's great, and it's cathartic, and guys love seeing it. If they just got divorced, and their chick took the kids, watching some middle-aged soccer mom get yelled at on YouTube, it's extremely cathartic. But that's not the point here. Again, sometimes just realizing that she's not the enemy, she's just a bratty little kid, is the best approach. She starts giving you demands, and there's a term called amuse mastery. Just laugh. Oh yeah? I guess you think pretty highly of yourself, don't you? And then that's what happens. It just... The whole thing phases off, and you'll get two responses. The positive response is the girl then starts to pursue more. It's an indicator of interest. Because, this guy doesn't put up with this kind of shit. I actually have to think on my toes. They get attracted. They don't know why they're attracted. It works in your favor. But to be fair, and this is where abundance comes into play, you can end up with a type of girl that ends up rejecting it. And they talk about the two archetypes here that do that. The low self-esteem women and the political women. So in here, to quote, the LSE group will naturally withdraw when interacting with a strong man because they start to feel strong feelings of low self-esteem once they notice the man is not promptly reacting as a supplicant to their magic pussy syndrome. Because these women are so accustomed to men supplicating, when they meet a man who simply refuses to do so, they take it as a personal insult. There is nothing you can do to correct such women, and unless you enjoy pain, it's best not to consider any serious relationship with them. Remember that too, because this is a lot of those things you'll see for Twitch streamers. They're always notoriously known for being very inflated egos. Another example was, we used to call them Navy hot. Girls of the Navy with a 20-to-1 guy-to-girl ratio. Incredibly inflated self-esteem. And when you start pulling out your man card, acting in an attractive way, speaking in Manglish instead of womanese, normally on a healthy woman, that does great. But for a lot of women, they just kind of withdraw because they're like, I'm going to find a simp somewhere else. Now, it doesn't make them ultimately happier. They probably would be happier with the masculine man who's self-assured, but you can't save the world. People have to want to be happy. And I always joke that the best way to bring her to happiness is to drag her there while she's kicking and screaming, but if a girl's given resistance, to this level, just let it go, man. It's not your job to save the world. The other example is the political group. Now, they may withdraw from strong men for purely political reasons, even if they're sexually attracted to them. This type of woman is very common at university campuses and within highly urban areas in the Western world. These women are often politically liberal, and they will often reject conventional notions of physical beauty. Strangely enough, many women in these politically liberal environments, especially highly educated university women, do not have much experience with masculine men at all. Many of them are prudes, and the men they are experienced with are often a narrowly defined group of men who self-identify as feminists. These male feminists also have little experience with women, and the experiences they have are generally reinforcing of their feminist viewpoints. You can often recognize the political group of MPS sufferers by their perennial complaint, "There are no good men left," or "Where have all the good men gone?" Remember this. You can't save everybody, and in this case, a girl could totally be into you, and it's totally possible. Like I said, if you basically have a zero tolerance level for her bullshit, but are still playful and not judgmental and understand the subtext around it, it can still work. But realize that resistance is not an anti-slut defense. It's not because you weren't charming enough. It's not because she's not attractive. It's literally because she's seeing you like you're a fucking alien and has no idea how to react to it. And so Your leadership, your ability to lead through these interactions, through these relationships makes all the difference. Now, sexually, it can work well. Politically, jobs, workplace, these are the kind of people that Me Too accusations come from, so I would avoid them, give them a wide berth if they have any power over your future endeavors. Something to keep in mind. Now, chances are it's probably not going to go anywhere anyway. Again, nobody's that famous that they need to worry about this. Nobody's going to try to Me Too the janitor at Best Buy or the guy working IT as a manager. Nobody's going to care about that, but it's just something to consider. Charles Bukowski, Jordan Peterson, Neil Strauss. I like these guys. Add some salt to cover up the bitterness of middle-aged soccer moms and put in the oven for 45 minutes. Optionally, you can take from all this stuff what you want and leave the rest. The origins of MPS. So women who suffer from MPS are not bad women, it's just how they are. Instead, consider this information as a value judgment for your time. If you easily get tranced out by women, especially those wasting your time and money, learn how to deal with this now before you find yourself deep into a relationship and thoroughly whipped. If you find yourself in the company of a woman, doing something you really don't want to do, and you aren't sure how you came to be doing it, you're tranced. If you approach a woman you're interested in, and she ends up leading the discussion in directions you don't want to go, you're tranced. And at the same time, you make excuses for an adult woman's bad behavior because you know she's a woman, you're either tranced or in danger of becoming tranced. And if this bad behavior is affecting you adversely, you're still making excuses for the woman, you're definitely tranced. I think we talked about this in the last episode. There's a hypnotic effect to this female subcommunication. I mean, they're kind of vague about it, but it makes sense. Every guy has had this situation where a girl wants something from him, and what does she do? She pouts her lips, she bats her eyes, she acts all demure, she maybe leans, shows a little bit more cleavage. And even though the guy knows it's bullshit, the guy doesn't want to follow along with it, he'll still end up doing it anyway. It's a kayfabe, it's a theater. Guys understand that, the storytelling of it. I have a great video on kayfabe if I can keep it up. But this is kind of the stuff we're talking about here. Now, if you're the kind of guy who falls for kayfabe, you keep thinking wrestling is real and you don't understand the subtext in this stuff, these LSE and political type women are absolutely toxic towards you. They're the ones that, a great example for this is the Meghan Markle Prince Oprah thing. Basically whipped a member of royalty because he didn't understand female conversation. He was raised without his mom in his life. He doesn't know how to talk to women. And in this case, a girl came in there with her political sense of things. He didn't have to stand up for himself. He basically got tranced by her femininity, and that ended up being his downfall. And now he's out of the will. They ended off with some practical advice. You should recognize MPS as an integral psychological aspect of most women that needs to be taken into account when interacting with them or when seducing them. Biologically, females choose for sex. Therefore, let the woman feel as though she has free rein to choose whether or not to have sex with you without pressure. If she feels the need for her ego to be stroked, as in she needs to feel as if her pussy is magic, it's no big deal. But never, ever allow a woman like this into a serious relationship with you without first ensuring that everything else she brings to the table is complementary to or supportive of your sexual interests. I cannot believe they used all those words to say, make sure you answer what's in it for you. And that's the key to all this. All the magic pussy syndrome, all the entitlement, all the power games, all the hypnotic language, all the subcommunication, all the aloofness. The best defense against any of this is the self-assurance of what you want and what people bring to your life. And again, other than sex is enough to get you having sex with somebody. If they bring more than that, then you get to enjoy more than that. But you always got to keep your head in the game and your eye on the prize and understand a lot of this stuff plays to our own egos. We want to believe that women are magical creatures. We want to believe that this subcommunication is hypnotic. We want to think that they're all the Madonnas because the whores are the girls that turned us down and the Madonnas are the ones that accepted us. It's all lies. It's all kayfabe. It's all theater. As long as you focus on what's in it for you and you keep that in the back of your mind on all the interactions, you can make better, smarter decisions Read her body language. See if it's working out for you. Realize she pulls some snotty, bratty behavior, that your job there is not to freak out and demand that she treats you with respect. It's not to punish that broad. It's to laugh it off. And if it's something that gets in the way of you or your happiness, then just leave. But you know why. Unlike the guys who just say, I'm not putting up with this, and you're out of there, you at least understand what's going on and you're doing it as a conscious decision. And again, once you have that idea of abundance in your head, you're perfectly able to walk away from a girl, whether it be for a night, whether it be for a weekend. It could be just the wife at home. I'm not dealing with this crap today. You go to the bar, have some fun with some friends. Come back the next day, nothing ever happened. It's called the goldfish. A lot of married guys do this too. When you start to learn to set your own boundaries and you've been in one of these like less than stellar relationships over time, yeah, you pull your attention and you pull your commitment. Just walk away. Verbal intercourse is optional. So it's not just for guys picking up girls the first time. It's not just for guys at the workplace learning what happens when your boss is bullying you. It's not just for guys in relationships. It's for everything, man. And once you understand that, the pieces all click together and you get a very healthy appreciation for what women can be, not what you want them to be. So on that note, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Enjoy yourselves. Later.